So my friends with bright minds, in this lesson we'll be learning about flowcharts. So by the end of this video you should be able to define what a flowchart is. So you'll be able to explain what a flowchart is and why it's used in programming or solving problems. Recognize and correctly name basic flowchart symbols such as start, end, process, decision, and arrows. Then we'll jump into interpreting a simple flowchart. This is where we'll be able to read and follow the logic of a simple flowchart to understand what is the flowchart do. So right here, we'll be able to create a basic flowchart that represents a simple task or algorithm. For an example, like making a tea, checking if a number is even or odd, or creating a simple calculator, of which this is what we'll be doing. So my friends, here we are having a simple flowchart. So this flowchart have the first step of which is green. This is where we started the flowchart. Then if you notice, we have this white arrow. It gives us the direction that we need to go to the second step, of which is input grade. So the purple rhombus or the purple parallelogram shows us the input or the output. What will happen is that we'll see the inputs here in this parallelogram or rhombus. After we have put in our grades, then we'll go and follow on with the arrow to the next step, of which is the yellow rectangle. So in the yellow rectangle, right here we have a variable of which is total, and you take the variable as a bucket or a box. What will it contain? It will contain the marks of maths. Let's say we have 40 for maths, we have 60 in English, and we have 40 in history. Then we are going to add them and say plus plus. We're going to get 140 as our sum. Then what will happen to this 140? It will come this side. Okay, then after everything has been done in this step, we have added everything, we come to the next step, of which we have the average. In the average also we are having the variable with the name average. Then we have assigned the total divided by 3. That means when we call our total here, of which is 140, it will come here. We say 140, you come here, we need to divide you by 3. Then you'll ask, why do we need to divide? Where does this 3 coming from? Now it comes from these 3 subjects, right? With math we have 1, English is the second, and history is the third. So we have 3 subjects, which is this 3. Then when we divide 140 by 3, I think we get a 46.6. After this whole process, we come to this step, of which is our 4th step. We followed the arrow. This rhombus or the purple parallelogram, this is where we will see our average scores. It will display our average scores. So the purple rhombus shows the output. After we have seen everything, the likes of this 46.6 right here, we'll say okay, 46.6, okay, we are enough, that's fair. Then we follow again the arrow coming to the step that is orange. The orange step shows the end of our flowchart. So now let's open our Scratch and start coding this calculator. Let's have some fun. So now my friends, let's code our average calculator. So first things first, we go to events, we go and fetch our when green flag is clicked. So now we want to punch in our marks. Where do we go? We go to sensing, we go to ask what is your name, Then we change what is your name to what, to what is your grade in maths. Let's just type in what is your grade in maths. Okay, so what will happen is that this block will ask what is your grade in maths, then we'll get a field where we'll punch in our marks. Now we need to store our marks. How do we go about that? We go and create a variable and make a variable here. We say this is for maths, right? Then we drag this block here, set maths to 0, but we don't want to set maths to 0. We want to set maths to the answer that we are giving here. How do we get that? We come here to sensing, we get the answer, right? So we have given the answer, of which is this is the answer. It will be stored in this variable. Okay, then we have to do the same process with English. Come to ask what is your name, we change to what is your grade in English, question mark, right? Go and make a variable for English. Now if you notice, we have the variable showing here. Then we come and say snap, then we have to get the answer to be stored to English variable. Then we come to sensing again, we come to answer and snap it here. Same way, come and drag this one. We say what is your grade in history, question mark. Don't forget the question mark because this is a question, right? Then we go and make the variable history. Now we drag set, then we come and look for history on our drop down menu. Then we come to sensing, grab the answer. So this one, these blocks here, they represent the purple rhombus where we are doing the inputs. Okay, these 6 blocks. This yellow one is the first block where we start. When the green flag is clicked, is the first block where we start. This 1 2 3 4 5 6 is the second step where we have the rhombus for the inputs. Now we are going for the third step where we are doing the total variance and we are adding all this subject. So how do we go about that? We are going to create a variable because we said we have a total as a variable. So now we come to variable, make a variable, we say total. Then we come to set this and we go to drop down menu, we look for total. So now we said in total we are going to add 3 subjects. How do we go about that? We come to operators, we come to this block here. Now you'll see that we are having 2 placeholders. So we only need 3, but we are only having 2. So as nesting is possible in Scratch, we are going to nest another plus or add block. So we nest it here. Now we are having 1 2 3. Okay, then with these 3, let's finish this block here, finish filling it up so we can be able to see what we are doing. Because if we drag it here, we'll find challenges where we find that we are messing up our code. Those total, these variables, they go where they are not supposed to go, because we're having challenges like that in class where these guys, they can't manage to drag and drop nicely. So now my advice is that just work it out here. Once you are done, you're just going to nest it once on the main code. Okay, so now we said we're going to add maths. Let's go to variable and fetch maths. Here we go. then we add what? English. Then we come to English, we snap it here, and lastly come to history. Then we have history. If you can go and look at our flowchart, you'll see that we are having math plus English plus history. Then let's take 2 as an equal sign. Then we snap it once here. Done. You see? Simple as A, B, C. Now, this is the first process where we are having that yellow rectangle. Okay. Now let's go and create the second one where we having the rectangle also, but that one it has the average as the variable. So if the variable is average, that means we have to go and create another variable for average. Let me say okay. What's next? We are going to drag this set average. We said we are going to set average to what? To total divided by 3. How do we go about that? We are going to operators here: plus, minus, multiply, and divide. We are looking for divide. Okay, because we are going to divide the total average by 3. Where do we find that? We are going to look for it on the average block. There we go. We say total, and we said we'll divide it by how much? By 3. Is it clear? Like A, B, C. So we're going to snap it here. So now this is the first triangle where we're having a total variable equals to maths plus English plus history. Then we are having the second one as average equals to total divided by 3. Why 3? We said because we are having 3 subjects. If we had 4 subjects, 5 subjects, it was going to be possible. We're going to nest these plus blocks or addition blocks together so we can manage to put our variable inside them or nest them. Now let's snap these ones together. So now we are left with the second last one of which is the rhombus, where we having the output. So how are we going to create the output? It's very simple. We are going to go to looks blocks and look for this one, the say. So everything will be said by our sprite. Now we want our sprite to say your grade average is, including the average total that it has inside the average variable. How do we going to do that? We are going to join them. How are we joining them? One will ask. We are going to operators and look for the join block. Let's go and look for the join block. There we go. We have the join block, and we said we wanted to say your grade average is, then let's put a colon and put some space so they won't be sticked together or concatenated. We need some space. Okay, then we wanted to tell us the average. So if we wanted to tell us the average, what variable is needed here? Yep, the average variable. Come here and say average. Remember we said the total will be divided by 3, and where does the answer goes? It goes to the average variable. So the average variable has the answer in this, from this block rather. Then I said to you, just start working on the block before you mess up this one. So now what is going to happen is that we are going to nest this join block on top of hello. Now we're having something of this nature. So this block is the last block where we said this is our input. Then we snap it with the rest of the guys. Now let's run the code. There we go. What is your grade in maths? We said you are having 40. We enter. What is your grade in English? We said 60. And then the total was 46.666666 if we calculated correctly. Then we said we are having how many then, or how many marks in history? We said 40, right? 40. Now let's watch the magic. Oops, your grade average is 16. Oh, that was quick. Let's add some time here. Let's give it at least 5 seconds. Let's run it again. We are having 40, 60 and 40. There we go. We are having 46.66666666. So if you have an idea on how to round it off, or you have some plans on how to work it out, please leave the tip for the other guys so they can manage to round it off to the 46.66 or 46.67 or whatever the case might be. So don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up and share it with the others. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Don't forget, keep coding.